So depending on where you live, it may or may not look it, but it is the month of April, which means on this channel, it is now my job for the next till the end of May to add a touch of spring whimsy to literally everything. Everything. Spring makes me think of flowers, so today we're gonna take some pressed flowers and make some artwork. My name's Bethany. Welcome to Joyful Habits. Oh, kick the camera. Hello friends, happy spring, happy April. I'm finding it really hard to believe that we are already in the last few days of April and heading into the month of May. Feels like literally just yesterday I was putting together that whimsical winter tea party video and yet here we are. But I'm very excited for spring and for the month of May because May is such a beautiful month. Everything becomes so green and vibrant. Flowers are popping up everywhere. Lilac trees are blooming, filling the air with their sweet fragrance. We have sunny days and blue skies. And yes, May is definitely one of my favorite months of the year. So as I said, spring makes me think of flowers, and speaking of flowers, I wanted to showcase this beautiful flower press that I received from my brother for Christmas. I obviously haven't had a chance to use it yet, but I'm very excited to use it this spring and summer and even in the fall because I like to collect and press colorful autumn leaves as well as flowers. On top of being beautiful, this flower press is very sturdy. It's heavier, it's a good weight, comes with all these layers of cardboard and high quality paper so I can press a bunch of plants at the same time. They have these very sturdy bolts that can be completely removed if needed and can tighten down as much as I need. I love this velvet bag that it came with. It's a nice way to store my flower press when I'm not using it so it doesn't get scratched up. Although I think it's so pretty, I actually have just been wanting to display it. I just think it's really lovely. The reason I'm so excited to finally have this flower press is because up until now, I would just place my flowers or leaves in between some paper towels and a heavy book. But then I would start to run out of books to use, and what actually happened more often than that is that I would sort of lose track of what books had my plants. It was kind of fun at times because then say a year later, I would randomly pick up a book and find a surprise inside. But I'm very, very excited to finally have a real dedicated flower press and be able to have all my plants that I'm pressing in one dedicated place. So if you're like me and you lose track of which books are holding your plants and you want to get a flower press like this one, I will have the link for this flower press in the description box below. So today we are using flowers to create some artwork. Now usually I would press my own flowers, but because it's so early in the season, I don't have any flowers growing yet that I can use, and I didn't have any left over from last year. So I went online and I was able to find these sets of pressed flowers, and I will have the links for these in the description box below. I also found these beautiful glass 4x6 frames. I really love the sort of vintage gold color of the frame and the simplicity of these, and I thought they would be just lovely for this project. So to open the frame, you can see it has this little clasp to keep it shut or to open it. It also comes with a removable chain so you can hang it. I'm going to open it up here and just start placing the flowers around until I like how it looks. The tweezers I'm using actually came with the flower press kit, by the way, and they are very, very handy. I would definitely recommend if you're doing this project to use tweezers here because using your hands, it's just much harder and you're more likely to damage the flowers or bend them or accidentally rip something. So yeah, if you have tweezers or if you end up getting this flower press kit, you'll have these tweezers and they're very, very handy. And they also allow you to be more precise, you know, to more delicately move things around, if that makes sense. So everything was going great. I was literally putting not the last, but pretty much the last flower in place, and it wouldn't come off the tweezers. And for some reason, I had a brain lapse and was like, I will blow on the flower to get it off the tweezers. But of course, doing that blew everything else out of place. Definitely not my brightest moment. It's not the end of the world. I just had to, put everything back. But note to self, don't do that. So once I felt like I had everything where I wanted it to be, I went ahead and closed the frame and latched it. Now unfortunately, as soon as I stood it upright, I noticed that everything started to slide around, or at least the little flowers were, because the seal on the frame wasn't tight enough, like it wasn't pressing the flowers hard enough in place. So I'm not sure if I was supposed to use an adhesive or something for these, but I didn't want to do that. So yeah, okay. So I'm like, okay, what do I do here? Now, in hindsight, when I looked at the frames later, I realized that you have to be very careful to make sure that when you're closing the frame that it kind of clicks into place. And I don't remember in hindsight if I had clicked this one into place. So it might actually just be my fault. I don't know if it's the frames or if it's me, if it's user error or if it's faulty product. But anyway, so yeah, if you're doing this, just make sure when you're closing your frame that it like truly clicks into place and has a really tight seal. But the nice thing is that through this sort of mistake, it actually led me to be more creative. So I was like, okay, so clearly we need to add something more. Okay, so let me back up. The flowers in the middle of the frame, because they were thicker and more stacked on top of each other, they weren't moving, they were fine. It was all the little guys around them. So I realized that we needed to add something more, so it was thicker and able to hold the other flowers in place. And then I thought, well, I have some scraps of lace lying around. Maybe I could cut those and put those in the frame, and that would be a pretty background. It would also kind of help to hold things in place. Now, in hindsight, I could have measured this to my second empty frame, cut it, and then put it on the flowers, but I was not thinking. So I put them right on the flowers, and then once I was thinking, I was like, well, if I take them off now, it might mess up all the flowers again, so I guess I'm committed. Trying to cut around it like you see I'm doing here and not pull on it or accidentally move the flowers was very difficult. So if you're doing this, I would highly recommend measuring it out with the other frame before you put it on top of your flowers. And then I eventually called Mr. Joyful Habits in to help me because yeah, it was becoming a little tedious. So what I did is you can see I put a book on top of it and I was leaning like all my weight on it to keep all the flowers in place, and that way he could pull the fabric taut and cut it around the edge. So yeah, definitely there's an easier way to do this. I probably did this in the most difficult way possible. But hey, we got there. We have the end result. So Anyway, like I said, if you're doing this, there is a much easier way to do this. Hopefully too, you'll have like an actual piece of lace instead of 2 scrap pieces that you're trying to put together like I did. But again, measure it on your frame first before you put it on your flowers, and you'll have a much easier time. We have our first piece of flower art, and like I said, I'm actually kind of glad that things were getting like moved around and shuffled, because then it kind of not forced me, but it, it made me have to think a little, and then I ended up adding the lace, which I actually like. I think it looks really pretty. So don't be discouraged when you run into road bumps with your crafting, because sometimes that leads to better crafting. I really just love the kind of vintage gold frame, and now with the lace and the flowers. As I say in every video, the possibilities truly are endless. Okay, and we are now on to artwork piece number 2. Hopefully this will go a lot smoother. Now, I don't know, you might think this is cheating, but I was looking at how the flowers were just all put together on this piece of paper, and I actually really liked it. I was like, this is actually kind of a nice design. And I also thought, if I start taking them apart, I'm probably not going to use all the flowers. And then I was worried we'd run into the same problem with the other one, where the flowers are sliding around and they're not staying in place. So I had the thought, well, if I literally just put all these flowers just how they are, because they were very stacked and very like thick, I thought they'll stay in place, they won't slide around. Also, on top of that, yes, I could have used lace again, but as you can see, I'm down to my last few scraps of lace, and I didn't really have enough to do that with this one. And I also just didn't want to do that with this one. I wanted one that had just the clear glass with the flowers. So yeah, maybe you'll call that cheating because I didn't like make my own design, but I was like, you know what, this is very pretty and it will serve its purpose because it's all stacked and very thick and won't slide around in the frame. And we're just gonna plop it in there and see what happens. Now you'll see here how I'm kind of really messing with the frame to close it, and this is when I sort of realize that there is a way to close, like you can't just close it, you gotta like click it in when you close it. And that's when I realized that maybe I didn't even need the lace for the other one, that maybe if I had just closed the frame properly the first time, we would have been fine. But again, I'm kind of glad I didn't realize this earlier, because I do actually like the lace in the other one, but I'm glad that I noticed it for this one. On a side note, I think these frames are not only gorgeous artwork, but would make really, really beautiful gifts for someone's birthday or Christmas or whatever, just because. And I'm really excited once things start growing again to use my flower press. I might order a few more of these frames and yeah, make some more artwork because it's really fun. I really, really enjoyed this. And like I said, I'm thinking, when the holidays roll around, maybe I'll make a few of these and give them away as gifts. Oh yeah, and random little fun fact, did anyone notice this little paper heart in the background? That is from my homemade paper making video from last year. We made some homemade paper and put flower seeds and flower petals in it, and I cut that little heart shape out. Which actually, makes me think, comment below how many items you notice in the video that are from past videos, you know, things that we've made, because there are more. So I think it'd be fun to see how many you notice. So yeah, comment below if you notice any fun little items that have made an appearance before, or things that we've made on the channel. Well, friends, I've had a lot of fun making these with you today. I hope you have been inspired or just enjoyed coming along for the ride. I will link as much stuff as I can in the description box below. I can link the frames and the pressed flowers, and I'll link anything else I can think of, so if you want to try this out at home. Please stay tuned, make sure you're subscribed. If you like this video, please hit the like button, say hi in the comments, I love to hear from you. I have lots of really exciting stuff coming in the future, lots of fun video ideas, a few other surprises I've been working on for a while behind the scenes. So yeah, just make sure you're subscribed and keeping an ear out so you don't miss anything, because I'm very excited. So, okay, my camera's dying, so I'm gonna go. My name's Bethany, and this is Joyful Habits, where we daydream and add a touch of whimsy to the ordinary. I'll see you all very soon, and until then, keep smiling. Bye, friends.